lazy mother. Yeah.
It's just BurnEye.
Hey, Bernie, just like last week, huh?
Weekend at Bernie's.
All right, we're live and recording. That was a short intro, so pardon the delay. Welcome. I hope everybody is having a good day and a blessed weekend to everyone, or whatever time, whenever it is that you're watching this. I figured while I still had it in me, do a little recording, a little mission statement. Alive. What am I? Who am I? What am I about? What is BurnEye, Mind's Third Eye, ScienceGuy, and Crypto Alchemist YouTube channels all about? What are we doing here? And it comes down to the goal of achieving self-sufficiency and better humanity and better living for all with free energy, anti-gravity, and understanding the spirit, the soul, the essence of what it is to be human. And for me, what I've found, alchemy is what that really is. And the ancient history, lost and suppressed knowledge, trying to find out what, the universal inner truths are. And, well, there's just so much of it. So a quick little, there we go. Going over, the work of this channel over the last 3 years, or the work of myself with my channels over the last 3 years, to be more specific. And, well, we're trying to get funding, I guess, really, to establish the series that I've already got going, all the collaborations, all the weekly and monthly conferences and panels, discussions, research, development, and projects that are on the go, off the ground. And, well, the sky's the limit, or no limit at all. If we get it, any of these major projects to fruition and out in the world, from electrolysis, turning water into hydrogen fuel, and if we're able to get an energy source, electrical source for the that's not just renewable but self-sufficient in itself, an open system, an open free energy system, the practical usage of it, whether it's something like solar panels providing the electricity, but hopefully more along the technologies of the free energy of what's dubbed over unity or 0 point energy, but in reality, as we just discussed, and Jason Verbelli did an eloquent job of explaining it properly on our show that we just did half a day ago, Friday night, with Julia Kamen, Tim Ventura, and Jason Verbelli, The Real Science. Jason describing that it's these open source, higher dynamic energy or electrical systems and circuits. And for instance, the Searle generator, the SEG technology, showing through these magnetic motors that it's creating a cooling effect in its environment. Thus, it's this endothermic reaction where it's taking the heat energy, the available surrounding environmental energy, and transferring it, transmuting it into electrical energy, thus not violating any laws of physics and thermodynamics specifically there. And that there are these realities. It's just a matter of taking the fringe science. What is fringe science? It's on the fringes because it's what's not currently understood. And if you want scientific breakthroughs, if you want technological breakthroughs and understanding, well, it's going to be on the fringe where you find these, where you burst out of being trapped in a box and into a whole new universal understanding and reality. A big one that we cover here being plasma, as well as the toroids, the coils, the science of sound, and light, and, well, also electricity and free energy, the key points. And where I need help, well, one thing everyone can do right now is hit that like button and make sure that you take these videos and you share them out. Please share them on all your social media. And speaking of social media, we are currently live on 2 YouTube channels, Instagram, 3 Facebooks, 2 Twitch, 3 Twitter, 2 Rumble, 2 OdySee. I know I'm forgetting something. LinkedIn, I believe I'm also on right now. It's ridiculous how much work goes into setting up every single live. But hey, that's what it is, and that's where we are. Okay, why do I have that up? Let's go back to this layout. And this layout. Oh, there we go. It's being slow. And let's show the channel. Crypto Alchemist, good day. Alex, good to see you. It's just me as well. Welcome. Good to have you all. How many people? Oh, currently 21, it says. All right. Also, going to cover Kick.com. Soon to be going on to Kick. And Rhonda Butterfly, welcome, sister. Good day. And I've got an excellent opportunity with Kick and Kick streaming services where Kirk Blackdoor, good day. Welcome, my friend. That they're going to actually promote me in their algorithms. They're going to I'm going to be able to enter into a partnership with Kick, and that I'll be in their partnership of 2,000 channels, the 2,000 top channels, where I'll actually be, you'll see these videos actually on the main pages and popping up in the feeds and actually have a chance of real viewership as well as actual earnings. Another amazing thing by Kick is that, well, they're not greedy. They don't kick back themselves. They actually give it to the content creators. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm going to be doing it as well in partnership. Shout out to my man, Holohan, Jeff Holohan Music is amazing stuff, and I'm going to be doing more of the Freestyle Fridays as well as the Science of Sound. Also included in the Science of Sound series, of course, Ominous, my man Ken, beatboxing. We're going to be doing more of that. With, of course, Jeremiah Zertis, and hopefully Jeremy Reese, Alien Scientist, the regular science gang, the real science team that we are. And speaking of all the teams, all the programs that I'm doing, but we're doing, because it's a collective and there's just too many people to even try to name right now. But the current series that I have going, that there's at least 10, most of them have 20 episodes now, such as Woo Woo Wednesday, of course, with lovely Julia Kamen and amazing Hans Dietrich. Coming up, we actually next Thursday, right? Woo Woo Wednesday on a Thursday. Thus, it's going to be Hans Day, but a special collaboration with Walter Bosley and the Walter Bosley channel. It's going to be one epic show and something that we'll be looking forward to. And if you haven't seen it before, I've already done believe this will be the third episode with myself and Walter Bosley, and the past ones we've done with Jeremy Reese, Jeremiah Pop, one with Joseph Farrell, Walter Bosley, myself, and the guys, and just so much real science and amazing collaborations with Jeremy and Jeremiah, and what we have coming more with Salvatore Pius, more with Gary McKinnon, the most amazing hacker of all time, and real scientist. Shout out Gary, my friend. We need to get our next Real Science episode up going soon. Ashton Forbes as well. Love the MH370 Tic Tac disclosure and investigations, and that there's so much that's being hidden yet simultaneously verified by official sources, the governments, the secret government programs, and the actual whistleblowers out there, such as Eric Hecker, for instance. And going to be having my third interview with Eric coming up, I believe, hopefully in April, if not May. And we should be able to also get Dutch Since on it. And shout out my man Dutch. Big, huge vindication for himself with all of the trashing and trolling and official academic BS putting onto him over the years with his discoveries in the geoengineering technology and applications and tests that the government and these different groups have been doing, that he's documented and brought light to, and that the major science and acknowledgement of it, that science and technology being officially released just a couple days ago. If you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure to go over to Dutch Sense's community section on his channel, and there's plenty of posts that he's been making on it. Also on Twitter. There we go. Twitter X. Did I say I'm on 3 Twitters? Yes. TikTok. That's another one we're going to be going live on very soon. Right there we go. There's Eric Hecker right here, and Jeremy Reese, myself, Jeremiah Pop. Let's check out a little clip from it first. And sorry, I have not been paying attention to the chat while rambling on. My apologies. A whole bunch of them in his own. Before I get into that, okay, that's just me. P.O. Box. I do have a mailing address. Please do not send anthrax or anything harmful, but you can email me if you got some sort of treat or educational book or donation you'd like to send. By all means, please do email me at adeptalchemist@gmail.com. That's ADEPTELKHEMIST. Not your normal alchemist spelling. So let's put that in the live chat for y'all. It's also pinned in the description links of all videos that I do, and are links to all of my channels in the description links below each video. And there we go. There's my email. Dawn, good to see you. Thank you. Love my videos. Appreciate it. Sunbeam Goods, good morning to you. Sunbeam 2. All right. I'm going to stop rambling for a minute, play a clip of Eric Hecker, Jeremy Reese, Jeremiah Pop, Gerald, myself, I believe is on this section of the clip. But there is the first interview I ever did with Dutch since on my channel. That does have our original meeting with Eric Hecker as well as Dutch on my channel together the first time, and that we're going to be doing the follow-up third episode with the three of us in April or May.
Possession, he spent good money on them, and he's going to demonstrate the black lights about them, and he's willing to send samples. Jeremiah, if you guys have access to a lab that can carbon date or get age dating, it would be huge.
I believe that would probably be Michael Perrone who would.
All right, never mind. I took a bad section there. That was more where I was talking about. Shout out to Mike at ancientcarvings.com and all of his parts out of Mexico, and his willingness to send samples to any lab that's willing to test it.
They told me you should pat yourself on your back for what you did. They said, just so that you know, the information that you have given us, we're taking extremely seriously. They said everything that you said is getting put into the National Archives and is getting expedited to Congress. The science officer that they had, he and I had amazing conversations. The other people in the room, I have great respect for their efforts, but they didn't really understand a lot of what I was saying until the science officer interpreted it for them. But he understood everything that I was getting at, and was like a kid in the candy store when he was picking my brain with questions. There was a lot of stuff that they suspected was actually going on, but they didn't have any corroboration. So they were very happy that I was able to corroborate things for them. I went in there with documentation. I went in there with maps. I literally laid everything down on the conference room table in a skiff, which is a secret compartmented information facility. This was some really high-end security. I mean, we got patted down. We got frisked. We got wanded. We went through, like, you know, it was like the opening scene of Get Smart, with locked doors and things like that. You know, one second you look like you're in a random, you know, normal office building, and next thing you know, we're in probably one of the most top secret facilities I've ever seen. And I've been in quite a few. I would have previous.
Right, and it's like every time you listen to these episodes, these amazing interviews, people like just the top tier, I feel. Especially when listening to their stories, like, and it's like every time you hear something that you missed, and hear Eric Hecker describing his experience of down working in Antarctica at the South Pole, and going from what seemed like just a little barn or something, some shack, into what he described as the top tier security building or something like that. Just wild, or facility.
Experience in the submarine service and understanding these protocols, and this was off the wall.
Eric also having served in the U.S. submarine service.
So what's interesting is that you went down, testified with this information to Arrow, and and you brought this out. So if you were lying and hoaxing and making this up, they could charge you with perjury, right, for giving that.
They absolutely. I could be in a lot of trouble if what I said was fraudulent.
In fact, what you said, like Jeremy says there, not only would they charge you for perjury, they wouldn't even let you testify. You would be immediately locked up.
I was just about to say, they probably wouldn't have let me out of that room. That was a gamble. I took a big risk going to Washington, D.C. They could have shot me in the head for all I knew. I had no idea how this was going to turn out. I was literally going to Washington, D.C. to testify against the government and its factions.
And our prayers remain with you, vigilant forever, Eric, for your courage, bravery, and just straight up real manhood of, you know, working a year at the South Pole, experiencing what you did. You also now work up in Alaska.
Kevin Day
as far
is joining
up
us
as
today.
76 degree north, I believe it is too. Like
I believe so. I've been as far north as Barrow, Alaska.
Right, so like you live in both extremes, and stepping up to the plate of exposing these like international potential like war crimes and hidden technology, suppressed technologies, and just potential evil shit, as well as off-world potential stuff, reality that's going on, and this technological break that has allowed it, and that filling us. What the goal of today is trying to fill the gap of the understanding of that technology, of this equipment you've experienced, you've worked on firsthand, and the technicalities of what Jeremy and Jeremiah here and Gerald know.
Yeah, I wanted to ask some questions about how.
All right, I'm gonna pause this one there and shout out to Jeremiah Pop, aka my man JP Exotic Propulsion, aka joined the Technicians YouTube channels. Lots of people, including myself, was like, man, I miss Jeremiah. Where's he been? But I assure you, he's been working diligently in the lab. Him and Liminal both, and they did join in after the show last night, after Real Science, with Tim Ventura, Julia Kamen, and Jason Verbelli, the Real Verbs. If you haven't seen that episode yet, I definitely recommend it. But that Jeremiah is coming back very soon, and of course he will have his own developments to share and a world of more understanding in the technicalities. When was this episode, Rhonda? It was about 8 hours ago. I need to go to bed, but instead I'm doing this quick live and mission statements of what we're all about. And one of the main partnerships I'm proud of with my channels is with this man on screen right here, Tim Ventura, who was in that show last night, The Real Science, as well as who is the main host of APEC Conference, along with Jeremy Reese, Jeremiah Pop, and Mark Sokol, all amazing, awesome people. And that with Tim, gosh, I had just a brain fart. Why? What was the whole point? APEC, duh. And how proud I am to be a part of APEC. And that was talking with Tim last night. We got a lot more projects on the go, including with APEC, and that I'll be doing every month my own segment on monoatomics, nanotechnology, electrolysis, hydrogen fuel, and that whole amazing genre, as well as cold fusion, LENR. In the there's 2 APECs a month. There's the presentation scheduled main live stream one, and then there's the workshops Zoom open panel discussion one. So there'll be a larger one on the open panel. I'll probably do an hour, and then there'll probably be a 20 to 30 minute section on the main live stream Apex each month. All right. And why I truly love APEC Alternate Propulsion Engineering Conference is it's essentially looking for alternative propulsion, aka new energies, new propulsion, anti-gravity, redefining, breaking through to new discoveries and understandings. And that, the one with Eric Hecker and Jeremy, that one was, let me see here, 6 months ago. 6 months ago, I will post the, cut it and paste it. Oh, God. Sorry. Man, donations do help and go a long way. I'm currently job hunting. In the meantime, trying to get some work, but holding out and praying that I get a large settlement that will help fund all of these projects and ambitions this fall or winter when I finally get my settlement with Purdue. All right, there we go. Post in the chat. But anyways, nothing but problems. Why I'm always off screen back and forth, trying to run it off of 3 outdated laptops just to be able to handle the different bandwidth and memory issue processing and whatnot with different videos. It's ridiculous. But here we go. Finally in the live chat, Eric, Pecker, Jeremy, Reese, and myself, and JP, Control V, posted now in live chat for everyone. If you want to watch the full 2 or 3 hour interview with Eric Hecker, myself, Alien Scientist, Exotic Propulsion, and WPG Enlightened for Truth 2, Gerald. What I have up right now, this one, it's just because of the actual societal implications and movement and progress and vindication validation of the UFO UAP phenomena by the official Pentagon with the Tic Tacs and the Nimitz encounter. This right here, getting to meet and talk to Kevin Day for this one will forever sit with me. And I emailed Kevin the other day. I re-emailed Kevin Day the other day to hopefully set up one more day of an interview, follow-up interview with them, and hopefully he's back on APEC again soon. I'll listen to this clip. Well, shit, good thing I didn't walk away without checking. It's not playing the sound for you. Thus, let us restart it and reshare it. My apologies. Oh, and I swore. Oh, dear. Here we go. Okay, reshare. My apologies. Please let me know if the sound works this time. Can you hear it this time around? Still nothing on the sound? What the bloody... Are you kidding me? What? Is it... Why is it not letting it? That's... Alright. One last time. Can you hear it? Nope.
He knows his stuff. Kevin, welcome back, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tim. I
Please let
very
me know
much
if you can hear
appreciate the
it.
invite. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay. Just by a show of hands, I'm wondering who isn't really basically familiar with the actual Nimitz event, because I'd kind of like
Third
to
time's a
spend some
charm.
time on the
All
post-Nimitz
right.
stuff, if that's possible, because I think the details of the Nimitz events are pretty well known. But basically, with the show of hands, who hasn't basically heard? So probably nobody. You know, when the reason why I'm speaking out right now, Tim, and you guys, is because.
Okay, so pause it for a sec now that we got the sound working. For context, Kevin Day was the radar operator officer on the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier, recording the data and experiencing the Nimitz Tic Tac UFO /UAP /USO encounters. And we'll let it play here for 5 or 10 minutes. I get to talk to him here at the beginning, and then I'll also come back and play the clip where I get to talk to him again, ask him some more questions at the end, and just his answers and reactions to my questions have stuck with me. And just, it seems like one of the most sincere, like, encounters, interviews. I don't know. It's just always stuck with me. Let me know what you think.
After this happened, I joined the Department of Defense, immediately became a Department of Defense contractor, and I was really concerned. I was like, this was my last underway in the Navy in uniform, and my job was air defense. Like the freedom and the safety and navigation and all that. So when these objects appeared in our airspace and no one seemed to really care, I was like, what in the hell? So I tried to voice my concerns, like, what? This is a safety of flight issue. I'm not saying these are UFOs, but whatever it was real, and it's in our airspace, and is a safe. And I got laughed out of the Department of Defense because people, all they could hear was UFO. I got so damn frustrated, I quit my job. I moved back to Phoenix at the time I was living there, and I didn't know what to do. So I was getting ready to go to school. I was going to go back to get my master's degree on the GI Bill. Glad I did. So I wrote a story. It's called The Seer, and I published it in the Library of Congress back in, I think it was 08, 09, for two reasons. One, to get the story off my chest. I fictionalized the whole thing just so, because there was people still active duty at the time when I wrote it. And also just in case this story ever became public, that my little fictional story will become proof that this really happened. And you know what? All these years later, I ended up back home in Southern Oregon. I was volunteering down here at the local golf course. I just reopened the kitchen. I was carrying out a plate of food, and all of a sudden, someone had turned off the tournament. I was like, hey. And then I saw what was on TV. It was CNN, and Commander Fravor was on there in this story book. And I yelled out, Dave, I got to go. I was so stunned that I dropped the plate of fish and chips and ran home. And immediately I called Gary Voorhees because he was there on the Princeton with me. I said, hey, Gary, man. And he's like, I know, Kevin, I just saw it on CNN. I said, dude, we can't let this guy twist in the wind by himself. We got to support it. We got to support him. And so that's kind of how we came together to support Commander Fravor. One thing led to another. And we ended up making a nonprofit. It's called UAP Expeditions. And we have some New York University physicists involved with us, and some Silicon Valley investors and entrepreneurs and gadgetry wizards, for lack of a better word for them. And we are going out, and our mission statement is UAP is real. We know it's real. It's findable, and we've proven that already. I'll tell you how in just a minute. And also that it's knowable. Now, the reason why I say it's findable, because we did a SoCal expedition recently, and we did in fact find them. And Kevin Knuth, Dr. Kevin Knuth and Dr. Matthew Zaidagas from New York University, they collected all their data on all their gear, and they're doing academic papers right now, which are due out in a couple months, which are going to be pretty stunning. Just two quick giveaways. We actually detected 2 gamma ray spikes within a second of each other, which is extremely unusual. I didn't really know what I was looking at, but Professor Knuth pulls me aside. Hey, Kevin, I know you don't really know what you're looking there on the display, but the odds of that happen are about 1,000,000 to 1. And then later on, Matthew Zidalgus pulled me aside. Hey, said, Kevin, I can't explain what we found here, but do you think they showed up just because we were here to find them? And I said to him, and I think this is true, I said, yeah, I think intention is a part of this phenomenon. I really do. They can perceive our intentions. And the reason why I believe that is because in 2004, after Commander Fravor had intercepted the UAP down at the Ocean Service and he was going back, this thing disappeared right in front of him, went 60 miles in less than a second, and went right to his combat air patrol station, a secret point in the sky that he hadn't even been to yet, and no one even knew it was there. How in the hell did this UAP know where it was? It somehow read our intention. That's why I think that they can somehow. I think they can read our intentions. And the reason why today I want to speak out about this is because when right after this happened, I didn't know anything about Valley Davis, Jacques Vallée, Eric Davis, or the UAP and the human post effects of encounter. This shit, I just started changing. I ended up in the wilderness out here looking for the mother lode for a gold deposit from a family mining claim 100 years old. And I did find it too, by the way, just so you know. But I'm pretty sure all my friends and family thought I was going crazy. I was suddenly homeless, living in the wilderness on some weird fucking dream. And if I had known in advance that this thing was going to change me, that journey would have been far simpler, guys, I have to tell you. So my mission right now is to, this thing is coming. And the world needs to get prepared, and people need to know that when they encounter these objects, whatever they are, you're going to be changed by it, and don't be scared. Embrace it, because it's going to make you better. You'll suddenly gain skills and abilities and interests and passions that you didn't have before, and do it, explore it, go with it. That's my mission. That's my state. That's what I have to do, because if the world gets this unprepared, like what happened to me, the opposite could happen. This could end in fucking disaster, because people aren't going to know what's happening, and all of a sudden they're going to start changing, and everyone around them is going to start changing too, and it could be chaos. And I think that is the very reason why they're so careful with us. And I'll shut up now, and I'm going to open the floor for any questions. That's pretty much what I wanted to say. And I know it was a lot to take in, but I felt it was important rather than rehashing the events from 2004, which I can still do if you need me to. But go ahead, I'm open for any questions you might have, you guys. Can you hear me? Hello?
Sorry about that, Kevin.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I had to use the restroom real quick.
Oh, okay. No, I ended my soliloquy and I opened the floor for questions.
Okay. Well, let me do that. So I'm going to allow people to unmute themselves. Sorry about that, guys. So let me go to Bernie first. Bernie?
Hello. Thank you so much. And it's an absolute treasure to have you on APEC and sharing your experience, Kevin. Like you are a true treasure, and I'm just speechless, really. For those that don't know, you are the main reason why the footage got released and acknowledged by the Pentagon. And I really am drawn and appreciate you bringing up the fact that it's consciousness related, and that when you first told your story, what you said that you felt them mentally or telekinetically or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, I definitely feel connected to whatever this is. but I think it's natural. I don't think I'm special in any regard. I think when people encounter UAP, you're going to be changed by it in some shape, form, or fashion. It's going to happen. It's a natural reaction, and not only humans but animals too.
Yeah, well, so let me say thanks to Bernie. Bernie just got up. So, Kevin, let me ask a question, actually. So I would say, how are things changing right now for you? And the reason I ask is, so the U.S. government now has a new group to study UAP. Have you been contacted by them at all? Have they asked for any information? And what are your thoughts on this new group? How does that change your story as it progresses?
Well, I think the reason, Tim, why people started listening to me and still are is because my story hasn't changed. I've told the same story.
Right. So a key part right there is that with Kevin and then talking with Walter Bosley, with Eric Hecker, and Jeremy Reese, myself, and discussing also this possible technology of like developed over the years through Project Bluebeam and whatnot. But Eric Hecker's researched it huge and found all the patents and whatnot, because that's what he both experienced as the Havana syndrome and as part of the Havana syndrome effects that he and several of his crew experienced down at McMurdo and Antarctica, as well as the actual neutrino detector array that he was partly working on, or something that he believes is a much more advanced, potentially sinisterly abused technology and device, but that one of those is this bone to skull, or voice to skull, or voice to bone technology, that if these UAP were not actually extraterrestrial or interdimensional, or not our own technology being run as a trial. It's essentially the government running a psyop on a certain section of the army, or one department of the army running a test psyop on another department of the army, sort of thing. That Kevin Day's genuine experience was something connected to him. So it was either some sort of telekinetic energy, or it could have been the government with this voice to skull stuff. It's weird stuff, but it's crazy. And I tend to believe what Kevin himself believes in his experience, that it was genuine and not a government op. But that's, we don't know, and that's part of the discussion and the disclosure. And I would just love the opportunity to talk more with Kevin, but here we will skip to the end of this one and my last couple questions with him.
At the beginning there, you were saying that things are changing and that it's for the better, and that it's accepting now of like this technology and these higher dimensional physics, like the anti-gravity, the free energy per se. And is it now like a time where the governments are looking to put forward this knowledge and this research of like the cold fusion and the free energy, the over unity, and us getting off planet? Or what, like, are people no longer getting killed for putting forward the electrolysis car and the HHO engine and stuff like that? So, well, what is your take on the 2022 and the future?
My take is it's incredible what's happened. When I look back on everything that's happened since 2004, it seems to me as though that 2004 is turning out to have been a tipping point, because it seems to me like the
Oh, sorry, I was muted there. Another reason I just paused it here is that point out a very critical part of the Tic Tac UFO timeline and technological timeline, and that the Nimitz encounters were in 2004. It wasn't until what 2016, maybe even 2019. I think of 2016 that the Tic Tac UAP UFO was officially acknowledged by the Pentagon, and over decades, 12 years, right? That it took at least, and that why I take the Ashton Forbes research of the MH370 disappearance Tic Tac videos so possibly as legitimate is that's a full 10 years after the Nimitz encounters. So if, per se, the aspect and belief of such researchers and whistleblowers as Joshua Bertrand and what I believe Walter Bosley believes, and possibly Jeremy Reese, that it's human-developed technology and drone technology of ours, and that it was a government on government test in 2004 with the Nimitz, as opposed to what I believe to be the case of it actually being extraterrestrial and or interterrestrial. Who knows? Could be under ocean beings, could be inner Earth, could be time traveling. Who knows? Or alien. It's one of those four, I suspect, as opposed to our own technology. But the MH370 Tic Tacs, that could be ours, and that's a full 10 years later. So I don't know, but there's so much to it, and it's freaking real, people. That's the main thing, is that these things are real, and here's the stories of those that can document experiencing them with actual real technology, like the cutting edge. He was on the Nimitz, like it's insane.
Entire planet is suddenly embracing, and on a governmental level, they're starting to adopt policies and procedures and acknowledge the fact that these things are real. And the mindset, people don't get clowned anymore by talking about this. Like just a few years ago, we did, and I got laughed out of an industry just by trying to raise a safety of flight issue. I say, I don't think they're a UFO, but there's a danger here, guys. And I was proven correct, because since that time when I got out, there have been several near incidents with Navy aircraft with these objects, and that's just the ones that we know about. What about the ones we don't know about? So my warning was prophetic in that way, and the people who laughed at me then sure as hell ain't laughing at me now, I'll tell you that.
Thank you so much for everything you have done and being part of the change that is happening.
My honor. Yep, my honor. And it's my I feel like I don't have a choice. I have to do this. I have to do it. I can't not do this.
Well, God bless you.
This message has to get out. Hey, this thing is coming at us. The world needs to know that when you see these things on a personal level, expect change in your life, because it's going to happen to you.
And not to fear it, right? That's the thing, is it's like they're not an enemy. It's not like something that's coming to get us or
no. Quite
something that's helping us.
Quite the opposite. It's, in fact, the reason why it's left us largely alone is because it didn't want to harm us, because it knew that it was going to change people. And there's a danger in that. If you start changing and you don't know why, and it's happening on a global scale, that might not end so well. Think about it, right? Because all of a sudden everyone's changing and no one knows what the hell's going on. Yeah.
Is it also a question of them not wanting to interfere with their own free will, sort of thing?
I don't know. that's probably beyond my pay grade. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Bernie, thank you, sir, and Kevin, thank you. So what I'm
Thank
going to
you.
do?
All right. So I will post the link for that in the live chat here shortly. And before we move on from the UFO UAP topic onto free energy, alchemy, science of sound, and all of the into alternative history, the other half of what I really do and love researching, whether it be ancient alchemical records or the power of pyramids, star forts, and cathedrals, especially. We'll play one more clip of Gary McKinnon, myself, and Jeremy Reese. We're going to be having Gary back on for several more. I consider Gary McKinnon a good friend now. Love the man, and we've got many projects that we are working on making happen, including some of the real science experiments that Gary's doing. Just absolute genius in so many ways. This man, and still holds the record for the biggest hack data breach of government servers of all time in the U.S. DoD, Department of Defense, I believe also the Navy, as well as NASA he got into. And the things he found, if you're unaware of the Gary McKinnon story, you need to hear it. And part of what you can hear it is in his words in this episode and the others that we've done, and more to come. Please let me know. All right, I guess I got to share it first before there's even a chance of whether the sound is going to work. Please do let me know if the sound works the first time this time.
The FBI gave an informant real explosives, told him that he was using fake explosives and taking part in a drill. They switched the explosives to real explosives.
You were saying about FOIA requests and getting your own file. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to go about it. Good to have you here, brother.
Sort of material, as they called it in the document.
Viewing a lot of these old timers, and then they're dropping dead like a month later. We're getting, history recorded and saved, stuff that would have been lost for generations through obscurity, and just people have no idea it exists. And we fight the censorship too, man, hard. But the reality of what and the realness of what we're doing here has been shining through. Especially, so Michael is our.
There's a steady state
stuff over
this whole theory.
No fire safety officer, whatever, you have to be able to go everywhere. But B,
ruler, and it's the part of the problem. What makes it
the vacuum is a material.
To have you on, Gary.
Or a bunch of like XXX or something like that.
Sorry, I was just trying to find a certain part.
No more
segment I wanted to play. Is the sound working good?
Mindy's.
Yeah.
I am curious how you pulled that video so fast. How did you load that quickly? You really typed that fast?
I am the master of finding. I'm Jamie on like
Rogan.
Yeah, I'm like Rogan's Jamie, but like way better.
I'll have to rewatch that because I could have swore that was like 4 seconds.
I will not argue with that, Jeremy.
It's just what I do. I find stuff. People talk about it. I find it, and I put it on blast. That's it.
What's this recent testimony of the Disclosure Project?
Yeah, Tom, if you're in there, maybe I think it might have been. Do you know about Eric Hecker and his work? Because he's mentioned you a couple times that what he's found down there, potentially the off-world server. He believes in the neutrino detector or whatnot.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what I make of it. Why did he have such access? I know fire safety officer, whatever, you have to be able to go everywhere. But B, why would people, if you're involved in a project like that?
I actually asked Eric about that, and he explains it quite well. To me, it makes sense.
So it's kind of, I find it hard to believe that people told him stuff he claimed
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah, so his story or his testimony goes that he was like a general like contractor guy down there, and then he was
plumber, right?
Plumber. But then I think he was an electrician when he went to the South Pole, or like his second 6-month stint, right? Because he was down there for 6 months, then took another job for another 6 months. And that his story with the New Zealand earthquake goes that he was like in this area, like just doing a job, and like the earthquake had happened or something, and like one of the guys just like came out distraught and was like, "Oh my God, I think we just did this." Like, was like a human moment of like grief that they had caused something so catastrophic, and like he was like, "Oh my."
Yeah, he's got this whole theory that it's they use. Basically, it's these things can be repurposed as a transmitter or antenna for what's called scalar.
Yeah, scalar interferometry. But what really kind of tripped me up, Jeremy,
Phased
you asked
array.
me a specific, excellent
phased
question.
array.
You know, how much power would it really take to cause these kinds of effects to happen? And when we looked at the numbers, they're tremendous, which does mean, you know, it leaves a lot to be desired in terms of could they really genuinely generate that much transmission power? And it's a bit hard to believe.
The amount of power that they'd have to transmit in order to.
Yeah, I remain skeptical too, and I have friends who worked at IceCube, so I can ask them at some point. I keep forgetting though.
Yeah, and then like again, how much energy is lost as you beam if you were to beam this through the Earth, and then how.
It also
to travel better
than the traditional way. It might have a novel means of generating power for doing shit like
So what gets me about it all is when I combined Dutch Synths and Eric Hecker and they met, and that Dutch had also captured these radar images of these like weird energy waves from Antarctica to Christchurch, New Zealand at that time. And he picked it up because he's an earthquake forecaster. And that's where he was like, the original earthquake energy amount that caused that Christchurch earthquake was an anomaly in his like energy dispersion system, which then had him look into other things, which then had him find the anomalies in the satellite radar images coming from Antarctica or whatever, shooting energy at it or something.
That's crazy. So if are there any other seismologists around the globe that are reporting this? Because that'd be great if we have other confirmation of this, because this guy's, you know, just a lone nut conspiracy theorist, that's one thing. But if other seismologists are really confirming these things too, then that would be.
Dutch has a record of literally predicting every big earthquake of like a 5 to 7 a week in advance. Like he's got about an 80%.
All right. If I have one superpower, my superpower is to be able to see all of the fringe real science out there and recognize the real breakthroughs and the ones that aren't bullshitting. And the issue that I've often found is so many of them, especially all the legends like John Searle, like John Hutchinson, like Jeremy Reese, like Dutch Synths, all of them have been attacked and critiqued and trolled so much and forced into dealing with skeptics and skepticism towards their work so much that it forces them almost this traumatic reaction to make everybody else's possible thing, as a scam too or something. It's strange, but my superpower is knowing which is real and bringing them together and having the discussion and giving these intelligent genius breakthrough minds and discoveries the platform to share it with each other and talk about it in an open, reasonable way and understand and apply these new discoveries to their own work and to the rest of science.
Percent record of predicting it each week for the last 12 years. So it's like it's ridiculous how accurate it is. If you've been following him, it's like this. It needs to be investigated scientifically because he's onto something, right?
Does he have access to a network of seismic detectors? Or?
Oh yeah, he uses them all. Oh yeah, he uses the ESGS, the USGS, the Japanese ones, the Russian ones. He monitors all of them. Then he's had to stop because they shut him down because he was embarrassing them basically, and they cut all the info or the feeds to him and his internet and stuff over the last month, and he's just been losing it. It's prayers are with him, and hopefully they stop targeting him and let him get back to work, because there's literal video clips of like Italians and like French from like years ago where they were sleeping in their cars overnight because he would project an earthquake, and he like saved their lives, and they went on to like CNN thanking him the next day, and then like CNN had to cut the footage. Like it's nuts.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, I'll have to check him out and look deeper into him. I'm glad you brought that up.
And like that's why I'm trying to bring him together with you, Jeremy, because like you guys can speak the science. He's almost like
no
a
seismologist, but
it's kind of crazy. He's the seismologist doppelganger of you. It's
if you're going to do another interview with Hecker, I'd also be glad to be there because I can bring in some of the technicals and some of the
we should get Hecker on with Dutch and
working on
try
that.
to do a deep dive into this with some other. I want to see if Michael can get some people from Ice Cube down there to comment on this as well, and also we'll find someone. We'll find some other people. Maybe we'll run some calculations too to see.
Well, now that we have Mark in the chat too, let me just bring this back for a brief moment into what we were talking about earlier with barium titanium trioxide crystal and the phase conjugate mirror or four-way mixing. And so normally when we think about inertia or energy, we think about the linear motion or acceleration of a particle that has some comparison to the speed of light. And so we know that there's a mass energy equivalence when you accelerate something. It takes energy to accelerate it. And so because it's moving in a different frame of reference than the stationary observer, that being us looking at something moving, or the equipment that we use to measure it, it's not going to respond the same. It's in a different inertial frame of reference. So its moment of inertia is different. But what we don't consider is that there are more ways to store up inertia than just simply a linear motion. And one of those techniques is spin precession. And so now that Mark's here, one of his big goals is to use the techniques of Elzaphan and dynamic nuclear orientation in order to add that spin precession and change the energy density in what we call the stress energy momentum tensor, so that we can reduce the inertia or decrease the gravitational mass, and we can control the inertial vector along a certain axis.
What, precession on the atomic?
So it's kind of a mouthful. But basically what it means is if you put energy into something in any form, whether it be light or whether it be heat or whether it be physical acceleration, even something like a flywheel, during the time when the change is happening, acceleration or deceleration or addition of spin in terms of precession or just simply spin flipping, you change the way it relates with the outside reference frame, the outside world. And that makes a huge difference in how it responds.
Yeah.
A simpler way to think of it is that subatomic particles are wobbling in many different directions simultaneously. And when you move them through space, their wobbles change. And that is where inertia is being stored. By orienting their wobbles, you're able to move it freely without any effects of inertia along the plane and axis of spin, which is why flying saucers can do a 90-degree turn at 10,000 miles an hour, but they can't do a barrel roll.
Right. Then we get into what Jeremy loves to talk about, which is coherent matter states. When all of the matter is completely synchronized.
This is coherent matter, yeah. It's the opposite of nuclear weapons and nuclear energy, where you're splitting the atom and trying to do stuff like violent things to it. We're trying to cool it down and orient it and make it coherent.
Right, yeah. I've got a lot to learn about physics. I've got a friend, she's got a degree in a master's in nuclear physics. I'm going to have to pick her brain.
Absolutely. Tell her to check some of this stuff out. You know, that's what we always like is the students out there that are showing this stuff to their professors and asking questions. And you guys are the next generation out there who are going to bring this forward. Man. So.
Yeah, Gary, ask your friend. Of universities that have done this too. So
Gary, ask your friend, your physics friend, if she knows anything about dynamic nuclear orientation. Chances are she doesn't. I reached out to the head of the physics department of University of Albany, who actually specializes in electron paramagnetic resonance, which is the form of resonance that's required to get to dynamic nuclear orientation. He has heard of it. He never even read the book on it, and he never attempted to achieve it. And this is a tenured professor with multiple PhDs. He came down to the lab and asked how he can help out. I asked him just read the textbook for me and find me, highlight things that are relevant. And that's what he did. And
this is way beyond MRI machines.
It's connected to MRI machines. So MRI is connecting with a resonance of the entire atom acting as a whole. Think of it sort of like the solar system. So the Earth has its own wobble, the moon has its own wobble, and then the planets going around the sun all together have even slower wobble. That would be MRI. And then as you go down in levels, then there's electron paramagnetic resonance, which is a higher level of orientation. And then the deepest level of orientation is dynamic nuclear orientation, where you're using the electron paramagnetic resonance via the Overhauser effect to orient subatomic particle spins.
And then, of course, there is one fantastic thing that goes even deeper than that, where instead of orienting the nuclei as a whole, we start to actually orient the dipole moment of every single subatomic particle in the nuclei. But this is something that we have not figured out how to do yet.
That's what dynamic nuclear orientation is. It's subatomic particle spin orientation.
Right, but it's the whole nuclei all at once.
No, it's not the whole nuclei all at once. It's the individual protons and neutrons. The whole nuclei at once is MRI.
Okay,
that's just an imaging technique.
Well, nuclear magnetic resonance is.
That's how it goes with me. I'm like, if Jamie could keep up with me, man, they'd have so many tabs open, and it'd be like, oh God, where do we go? Like this is just like each one of these is like a textbook that you have to give to a college professor, and it takes them a year to read.
Yeah, you're literally going through digital textbooks there.
Yeah, this is nuts. So you guys go so fast, and I'm trying. And luckily, I know what half this stuff is, so it's easier for me to find. I couldn't imagine being like, Jamie being like, "What is this? I don't,
Jeremy, it's impressive.
How do you spell
have
that?
This stuff so fast. I can't believe how quick you're pulling this stuff up. It's
paused it there, and the purpose of illustrating all of this is the real science. That's the fundamental foundation podcast series that I do with Weekend at BurnEye's. That's what it all started, the 24-hour 48-hour weekend streams. That is the ultimate goal, that once I'm able to reach sustainably doing podcasting full time, that I'm going to be running. But until we reach that, we're taking the steps, and we're developing each series, each product, each research project into you as well, Rhonda. Much love. Have a blessed weekend. If you're in, I believe it's still Saturday in Australia or New Zealand. I believe you're from Australia. But back to the point, and shout out Gerald, WPG and Light for Truth. I hope we actually are able to meet up this summer. And if not this year, next year, if all things go to plan, by 2025, I will be traveling and have received a decent settlement to be able to fund the next stage of the projects that I'm working on, and actually take this and elevate it to the next level, to be able to go out and research, explore, and document the ancient sites that are around, that I've been uncovering, like the Badland Guardians, the Medicine Hat Badland Guardians. Let me pull up a picture of what I'm talking about right here. Somewhere. There we go. This guy. And this guy. And that I was able to make it out there this past spring and summer, and that I'm going back, and not only there, but many other places around Alberta and into Montana, and that these sites connect. They're from a lost ancient civilization of the megalith builders, the Younger Dryas, the Atlanteans, the giants, possibly, the same peoples that built these. And this is in Cydonia on Mars, but there's pyramids and there's faces and there's these geoglyphs all over. Oops, wrong one somewhere. Oh, Grand Canyon, star alignments on the topographical maps. The different palaces, pyramids, and temples of the Grand Canyon super complex. And, the different moai, elongated skull folks, all over these ancient carvings and sites around the world, and that they're built in with earthworks, these radial earthenworks at these geoglyph sites that map out around the world to all the other ancient sites. It's just, geoglyphology is the most suppressed ancient archaeological terraforming system that it just changes your perception on reality, where humanity came from, and the possibilities of where we can go, and where we can go within our lifetimes in the here and now. And, reaching that alchemical gold. Speaking of golden tablets, and this is from the Crespi collection. I personally suspect and believe I'm going to end up finding my own BurnEye's golden tablets somewhere at one of these spots. Maybe it'll be in Mount Yamnuska, another spot that we're exploring in Alberta that I believe is an ancient megalithic site, I suspect under mountain site. Why not show y'all what I'm talking about? It is this site. Oh, pardon me. Share screen. Window. Why isn't it? Oh, hasn't opened yet. Here we go. Share. And Gerald, I meant to talk about Gerald. All right, back to real science quickly. And year of the coil. What the power of coils and the toroid coils, the coils within coils within coils, the star coils, the Rodin coils, all of the coils, the Keshe coils, the Bob Grenier Bagel coils, they're all relevant. And shout out to Gerald and your work on free energy. And we will be doing a new Free Energy Friday, Real Science and Year of the Coil, featuring Gerald, WPG Enlightened for Truth 2, as well as, of course, Mike Faraday Research and his weekly Friday night League of Extraordinary Inventors live stream that I like to coordinate with the Free Energy Fridays and bring that into it all. But is the picture showing? No, it's not even loading it properly. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Maybe now. Maybe now. All right, it works. And a good time to change the background. And why I always do change the backgrounds is, well, when I change a segment or a topic, so that when I do editing and into short videos, they're each unique in their own. But here we have the Mount Yamaniska Badland Guardian, or Mountain Guardians. And these are two bears. These look like two elongated skull folks. And there's a path going up, and then there's a path that connects up here to what is a carved path in a massive mountain cliff face that then goes up above into a cave. And there is a, oops, on the opposite side. So we have right there the one carved cave system, and then there's another one right here that goes into another cave entrance in the mountains here on the backside of Yamnuska. And for those that see, like, it's completely carved. It looks like mining, but no, it is not. It is carved. We got to go back to explore that this summer. And no, I don't think. Okay. Oh, look at, there's T2, and T2 found what I'm trying to find right now, which is to the right of T2 on the front side of Mount Yamnuska. No, that's the end of this one. So not in this. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. You don't get to see the other entrance, cave entrance, on the front side of Mount Yamnuska in this presentation, but I've showed it before, and I will do a full video presentation with all of the pictures together coming soon. What else was I going to show and share? Well, places I want to make it to, I guess. All right. Here's where we want to go in 2024, before 2025. This is this year's goal, and it's to make it down to the Montana megaliths, Giants Playground, and this specifically Sage Wall close by, and just next level stuff. And this right here, this is the Mystery Rocks of Saskatchewan, another megalithic site I'm going to explore this year, as well as go back to Writing on Stone Park, another Badlands site in Alberta, and then cross the border into Montana. Right, literally across the river from Writing on Stone is Montana. And then we have Giants Playground, and to go meet Julie Ryder and do a tour of what she has discovered. And this is Writing on Stone Park. I explored there this past summer, but I'm going to go back for more full in-depth, getting the petroglyphs as well on that. And this is what we want to do this year. So please help me get there. Everything helps. Super chats, being a member, PayPal donation links up top. Everything helps to get all of this work done. You know, we're trying to get hydrogen. We're trying to get free energy. We're trying to find the ancient past. We're going back to this place. We're documenting that this is real. I'm the first to go take pictures and show all of the terraces on the different hill faces of these terraformed sites. I accomplished that this past year, and this upcoming year, I'm going here, and we're going to connect it all. I'm going back here, Writing Stone, And well, I still have thousands of pictures that I have yet to publish from my trips this past summer to these places. And well, if you want to see that, I need to live with an income somehow. My God. But anyways, it's coming. It's happening. The more support, the sooner it can happen. I promise that. But it will all be published for free at some point in the future. I do assure. Because why else go explore if not to share with the world? But if you want to help me get to this place and explore it and bring it with you, these are all Giants Playground across the border of, well, this site in Canada, across from Montana, where all the Giants Playground pictures are from. This being an overhead view of Mystery Rocks, Saskatchewan Mystery Rocks. It's the Cypress Hill Parks, I believe, that this is on the easternmost side of. And there's another megalithic site on the westernmost side that I made it to this past summer. Oh, bless your soul. New Rest Reset. Oh, Frankie, thank you, brother. You're the man. And shout out to Frankie and New West Reset. We've done one collab so far. We need to do many more. It's been too long, brother. I'm going to message you and we need to schedule something. My friend, my fellow Calgarian, Tartarian, New West Reset. Shout out, Frankie Fingers. Thank you for the 30, my man. And let's plan to get Frankie along to one of these expeditions this summer too. But speaking of the picture that I have up, Saskatchewan Mystery Rocks megalithic site. I believe this picture was actually taken by my friend Michael Collins, who I just emailed. We're going to be doing an interview, our first stream together sometime in the next week or two. Wandering Wolf Productions, and he has explored so many sites. Wandering Wolf, just next level stuff. I'll be putting that up in the next week for when I'm going to start trying to make the streams on YouTube and on StreamYards a week or two in advance so that you'll get to long notification, not just last minute, here it is, even though you know that it's coming because it's Wednesday or whatever day it be and whatever program I have, right? Freestyle Fridays, Free Energy Fridays, APEC Conference Saturdays. We had Alternative History Mondays. We got Woo Woo Wednesdays. We got Adept Alchemy 101. We have Real Science and Science of Sound series. Next episode coming up a Saturday soon. Most likely after the next APEC. I'm going to be planning that and coordinating it better with Tim Ventura as we go forward. And what I need to do, how do I do? Let's find without crashing my computer. Was it Crypto Alchemist or BurnEye that the good Frankie is on? Oh no, it's freezing up. All right, let's continue with the pictures. Julia Ryder at Giants Playground. There we have another dolmen. So many of the dolmens. This overhead view of one of the Badlands Guardians. And another episode I'm going to be doing right away. I have yet to get a screen capture. I need to do it, but I've seen it on Google Earth myself. There's a whole other valley to the north of this one that has several more indigenous faces on it. So not just all of these guys. There's like 10 in this valley. There's an additional 5 to 10 in the valley north of it. Here we have another Eagle Amphitheater. Another dolmens, more dolmens. Are these Titan feet? Maybe. Believe biogeology? Yes, it is. I also need to get to Omak, Alberta. That is what you're looking at here, an above picture of what is dubbed Canada's Stonehenge. I believe it's dated to 4500 BC, so potentially 6500 years minimum, and it's an astrological calendar in Alberta, and it is close by, I believe, to the Medicine Hat Badland Guardians. Here's the center of it. Here is another overhead picture. That could be Mike there, or this Mike? No, not one of them's Mr. Michael Collins. And yeah, I want to be climbing more mountains this summer. I'm going to be doing it either way. Here's another stone. This boulder, I believe, is actually outside of Head Smashed in Buffalo Jump, another megalithic site in southern Alberta that I visited several times this past summer. Have yet to publish my findings and pictures on it, but my God, it is a massive pyramid complex for sure. Here we have the Dragon's Head site, I believe, in Giant's Playground. Here's an archaeological dig in Cypress Hills that's connected, Cypress Hill Park, and it's connected to the same park as the Saskatchewan Mystery Rocks that you're just looking at. So this right here, this is a picture I've been trying to find for a while. This is another megalithic structure that is in Cypress Hills Park. So there's the Saskatchewan Mystery Rock site in Cypress Hills, and there's this megalithic site in Cypress Hills, and there's this ancient archaeological megalithic dig site also in Cypress Hills Park. It's quite wild, and that's right also along the border. There's a whole strip between Giant's Playground and all of the sites that I found, all the Badlands sites in Alberta. It's just nuts. Like the Rhino site at Giant's Playground, Montana. There's a very similar, even crazier mountain at Waterton National Park, another epic site I will be going back to this summer. Here we have Writing on Stone again, and these pictures don't do it justice. You know what? I'm gonna have to, just because Frankie donated 30, Frankie bought y'all something special. Let's do a first time ever sharing of some of the pictures I have yet to show. Waterton. Right now we're going to go with Waterton Park. Okay, this is going to be, for the first time ever, the full presentation of one of three full folders of my trip to Waterton Park. And oops, I guess I gotta share it. Here we go. Sharing is caring. What am I doing? There we go. Changing the background. That's what I'm trying to do. Now that we got that. All right, starting. There's my dog's butt. And there's me. Waterton Park. Who's filming Bernie? Shout out to my moms. Love my moms. Was able to do this trip with my moms this past summer. It was amazing. And This is the entrance to Waterton. And Waterton Lake is on the border with Montana. You can actually, what is it called? It's like Crypt Lake. There's actually a crypt, and it's like this pyramid mountain, and it's in the middle of Waterton Lake and National Park, and it's on the border of the U.S. and Canada. My goal is to explore it this summer. And here we're entering into the top of Waterton Park, the north side of it. Just beautiful in June, full of wildflowers everywhere. A bunch of dead trees from an old forest fire went through, I believe, 10 or 15 years ago. Bunch of bee balm right there. Very smelly herb flower. All right, so we're going in. We're getting into the mountains. And Red Canyon is where we end up on the north side here that we're leading up to. My God, is it one of the most beautiful, amazing places I've ever been. Oh, shout out David Stig. He just uploaded a video that my mouse inadvertently clicked on. But David Stig, we're going to be doing another episode on talking about his recent trip to the Eye of the Sahara, which him and Jimmy Bright Insight believe is actual Atlantis City in the middle of the Sahara. There's my mom. Shout out my moms. Love my moms. The door. The key. Thanks, Mom, for bringing me. Mountains are getting bigger. Oh, and here we're starting to see one red mountain. Oh, is it going to zoom? No, my computer froze. Oh, there we go. All right, so we're starting to get some red at the tops, but just you wait. We're going to have entire red mountains and canyons coming up. Here we got another side, all red, and I went up and explored this, and it is red rock, red with white bands of quartz in between, almost like veins. They're called veins. They're called quartz veins. So you have red iron rock with quartz veins in between, and more. Sometimes I do see faces. Some of it could be pareidolia, some of it definitely not. All red and white. Quite a beautiful sight. And there is my pup T2, and you got two white eyes staring back out of the red. Back at him. I see a face. Do you? And the whole point also of all of these different pictures is slightly different angles. Feel free to go back and pause each one and look at each one individually, because if you see that same face in each of the different pictures with slightly different angles, that is not pareidolia. That is architecturally designed to maintain that facial shape. And whatever it is, well, then it's actually a face. All right, Red Rock Canyon. Red Rock Canyon with crazy symmetrical parallel quartz veins all the way through, and waterfalls. Oh my God, this place is magic in the summer, and I'm definitely going back. There's moms, and I'd be going back hopefully with moms, but also with any and all of you that want to come, we're going to plan it in advance. And Frankie, this would be a good one for you to come on, my man, down to Waterton. And we'll make it like a 3-day sort of camping thing. Probably get some trailers, and we can probably spend 1 day in the national, like one night, maybe 1 or 2 nights in the park, maybe a couple more out at my aunt's property close by. Aunt and uncle, shout out Sherry and Bob, the Tatlow family, love them. Just as it's a big acreage, and it could be a good place to base out of for an extra day or two, especially those that might be traveling in from a longer distance. If you're looking for an RVing trip, camping trip, and exploration, right? It could be a nice thing to do, and we'll plan it out. We're gonna make it a thing because we're going back here. And it literally goes for miles down, all the way down, and all the way up into the mountain. The entire mountain's red. The entire canyon is red. It is Red Rock Canyon in Waterton National Park, and it is a Waterton Park. There's waterfall after waterfall after waterfall in this beautiful place, and I suspect it's a megalithic site. That, or we live in a simulation that was built with, what the heck? Minecraft simulation reality, because there's so many slabs that just look like giant cut slabs, and carved stone and blocks. And this is the public area, and even here, like, it looks like there's like snakes, and that the parallel quartz veins seem like there's some art in them almost, or creatures. It's pretty wild. But this is just the public area. Wait until I cross under the no trespassing sign. And look, like that looks like a snake to me chasing another snake. Like that's a big snake. That's a little snake. Like little snake fade going up. Big snake gonna eat little snake. I don't know, but like got built in. Not just pareidolia, I think, but maybe I don't know. You let me know. Why is it freezing? Okay, it's loading. There we go. And I should have changed this when I started covering Red Rock Canyon, but now we got it red so that when I go back and edit, we know it's Red Rock Canyon that we're covering right now. All right. So as we continue up Red Rock Canyon, waterfall after waterfall after waterfall at Waterton Park. And like just the symmetry, like boop, ba-doop, ba-doop. This looks suspect, to say the least. How does nature just form that? I don't think it's nature. I think it's built, potentially. Or Titan biogeology. One or the other. One or the other. And I believe Stellium 7 has put forward a lot of compelling evidence in the biogeology department, and that this site right here is an excellent candidate for it. And shout out to Stellium 7. I was thinking of him the other day, as well as Lucius Aurelius, and that what I love about Aurelius is the 5 eras theory he puts forward, and the Titanology fits perfectly into that theory and situation. And it's what the shamans, it's what the indigenous, it's what the legends and the histories of creation all tell, and it looks like what we're actually finding. Maybe we do live on a turtle's back, on some elephants. I don't know. It's simulation, God playing tricks. I don't know. Who knows? I'm just kidding. Make of it what you want, but here we go. We see that orange sign in the distance, and that is it's under construction. It's off limits while it's under construction. So everything you saw so far, if you think it was sus, now look at what's supposedly off limits and under construction, and how compelling. Well, megalithic, potentially. And the 5 eras, well, you had Titans, but then you had giants, right? The Nephilim, or the Anunnaki, maybe the Titans, Nephilim, the ones that mixed, who knows? But that there were different sizes. And, well, if this is biogeology, potentially, then, well, it's perfectly reasonable that giants afterwards shaped it and built and blocked it and are responsible for all the huge giant tonnage, symmetrical megalithic sites everywhere around the world, and that they literally are the foundation of our reality. And it's the worked stuff by the previous civilizations of the time of pre-cataclysm. Documented Younger Dryas catastrophe, known as like the Ice Age. Well, they call it the Ice Age so you don't think of Atlantis, because, well, it's the exact same epoch in time. And, all the megafauna, all the giants lived, 12,000 years ago. The Younger Dryas, something wiped it all out. Whatever the hell it was, well, it also wiped out giant humans, because you don't just have giant beavers, giant sloths, giant mammoths, giant rhinos, giant saber-tooths, giant armadillos, giant reptiles, giant fish, giant insects, giant everything, and not also have giant Homo something, Homo gigantus, not just Homo sapien. All right, so is this looking more and more block-like, potentially? I suspect so. I also see more pareidolia. Not. It's real. Just beautiful waterfalls throughout Waterton Red Rock Canyon Park. Truly love it. And I love all of you. Thank you all for being here today. I hope you're having a happy, wonderful Saturday. Maybe watch this on Sunday. Maybe even Monday. I hope this brings some joy. And if you want to come explore this place with me again this summer, get in touch with me. And Frankie, you best be coming on this one, because it's close by. It's epic. It's awesome. And I'm looking at getting me a couple campers and some camping, and got a tent. You're good. Boo, boo. Red rock everywhere. And maybe I'm just seeing things. Maybe it is all pareidolia. Either way, it's beautiful as all heck. More like heaven. It is nature's heaven. And that is the north side, Red Rock, Waterton National Park. Oh my God, I've been going live for an hour and 43 minutes already, and it is 9:40 a.m. I definitely should probably get some sleep, because shout out to Shen Jacobs, Tartarian Truth, going to be doing a stream tonight together, and we'll be doing some alternative history research, I believe, looking into the world fairs. And Frankie, New West Reset, brother, if you want to join us for that one, that would be an awesome, perfect episode to also have you on. Waterton Park Chateau. and pay attention to the mountains and the features in the mountains. Oh my, this place excites me. And this place is what lays between Giant's Playground in Montana and everything I've discovered and been documenting in Alberta, southern Alberta. These places, they are from a past glorious terraformed time and civilization of giants. At least that's what I believe. And what I believe the evidence shows, cataclysm after cataclysm, we got wildlife. And where's Waterton? There's the waterfall. Just such a beautiful, glorious place. Waterton National Park. You want to come. You want to join us. You want to be there. You want to come explore it and experience it for yourself this summer. Get in touch if you want to make it part of your reality. Either way, I'm going to be sharing it with all of you, and we're sharing this right now. Ooh. Down Waterton Lake is where the Crypt Lake, and it's up in a mountain pass, and it looks like a pyramid mountain top. And I believe there's crypts in that lake because there's a giant ledge underneath, and it's probably it's going to be a discovery. There's so many discoveries to make. And no matter where you live, no matter where you are, you can make discoveries that'll change your perception of reality and the world's and help verify time after time. It's not fakes, it's not frauds, it's reality. And it's a beautiful, beautiful world that we all live in. All right. Okay, hour 47 minutes in. What was I gonna do next? We'll end her at 2 hours. And thank you all for being here today. Make sure to please subscribe to everything that I do, and share and like and help get the knowledge out, get the content, get the education, get the opinion, the discussion, the open discourse. That is what is needed. And yes, Frankie, you are 100% correct, my friend. It is Sasquatch back door right here. And I personally experienced a Sasquatch this summer. I believe 100%. I was petrified. I was too afraid to catch it on camera. I was too afraid to look out the window, to move the blind, because there was just a little screen and nothing between me and this thing that was 8 feet up. Oh, man. There be Sasquatch out there, let me tell you. It's a thing. It's a thing. Once you experience them, well, you experienced it. There's no other way around it. All right. Okay. Stop sharing that. And I was going to try to finish it off with a little pyramid clip. Tartarian Truth and myself. Right. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it or it will load in time. Oh, God. Of course, everything likes to crash all at once. No. No. Why? Well, anyways, I hope your Saturday is a wonderful Saturday. And sorry, Shem, and to Shem Tartarian Truth fans, no Shem Jacobs for you right now, but you can catch us up, 10-ish hours when we do our stream tonight. Actually, yeah, no, it'll be about 10 hours from now that we'll be doing the stream, maybe 12, depending. Probably 12. All right. To finish it off, though, here is former FBI and Air Force Special Agent Walter Bosley that we will be doing our next Woo Woo Wednesday on a Thursday with March 21st. Woo Woo Wednesday on a Thursday featuring Walter Bosley, myself, Julie Cameron, Hans Dietrich, and Malaya Grimm. There we go. That's what it is. And I'm looking forward to this.
And half turns to this red chemical reaction, and that there's like a white decay in between the two, and then tying it into how the alchemists were talking about these colored states of metals, and that they're these transmutational states of metal, and that
happy St. Patty's Day.
Sorry, there's so much all at once to include into that, what I'm trying to say. But that they're the metamaterials, that now we're seeing this red state metal is like this high superconductive or high energy state potentially they're coming out with, that there's the superconducting cold states and the nanotechnology, the lattice structure, nano layering, and all of this for their superconductors and whatnot. It seems like there was a very super high advanced ancient alchemy science that they got it, they understood it, and it came from most likely a demigod or root creator.
Can you hear the sound?
Civilization that we barely understand or has been suppressed, that's in mystery schools. Not entirely sure.
I do suspect and think that the Sonora Aero Club was the beneficiary, the recipient, what have you, the heir of some type of very old knowledge. Now, tracing the origin of that knowledge, one could say, well, it wouldn't be a shock to learn that some advanced technological civilization came to this world and this was theirs that they left behind. Or let's not assume that humanity is unable to come up with things and understand things and develop things on their own. Whatever your inclination is, I do think that Peter Menace, for example, of the Sonora Aero Club, had learned something that yes, had been passed down from a long time ago. A lost technology, because the cycles of civilizations coming and going, and the various dark ages.
Right? Yeah. So it doesn't have to all be like necessarily alien or anything like that. And that's what I wonder. And I have to bring this up: the pre-cataclysm, the Younger Dryas event, the story of Atlantis pre 12,000 years ago. But that we also recognize the megafauna of the Younger Dryas, and that there were these giant beavers, giant mammoths, giant, pretty much everything you can think of, whether it was mammal, reptile, insect, everything. There was much gianter. So why weren't, or could there have been giant humans at that time too? That
well, that's an interesting speculation, because I don't know if you're aware of it, BurnEye. I, I don't know if you've seen those Sumerian cylinder seals, where you'll see a big guy sitting down, and then you'll see these very small little humanoid creatures bringing, gifts or whatever. And the way the academics explain this is that the big guy on the chair or on the throne is the Magal, the Magalal or something. I forget what their Lugal is the big man, which is their word for king. So the academics are saying, oh, this is just their way of portraying the king. But the actual word is big man. So in other words, why, I think the cylinder seal is telling you that, yeah, why not big humans or humanoid people, and they're little people. I think that's absolute possibility. And the texts talk about giants all the time anyway.
Yeah.
Right, because I want to tie it into, and my ignorance because I haven't read it, but the Old Testament, and they said there were giants in those days, and that
Giants
we
in the
were
earth.
created from God. So it's like, were we like, did the giants genetically make us smaller and out of some primate or hominid or something, and like was
most people think it's the other way around. Most people think that the giants that are referred to in the Old Testament, the most famous example is Og, the king of Bashan. And if you look at the measurements given in the Old Testament for his bed, the guy would have been about 9 feet tall. So in other words, he was very, very tall, a giant. Most people think that the giants are the result of that, the Nephilim, the sons of God coming down and genetically engineering mankind, and that the giants were the result. I tend to that view, but I'm not entirely sold on it. But it may have been the other way around. Maybe humanity originated on another planet and with a much higher gravity, and we were taller, But the other problem here is we're not really able to look at the genetic environmental factors of what's going on. We today, you and I, Walter, Exotic Propulsion, we're all on average much taller than maybe our grandparents or great grandparents.
Yeah.
I think it's by about 6 or 7 inches by now. We're on average much taller. So, who knows? A lot of that's our food supply, but it's got a lot of other things.
When you look at clothes from a couple centuries ago too, I mean, even 100 and something years ago, you go, wow, did these shrink, or were they tiny? I think Jeremiah still, he held off on explaining what he was showing while you were gone, Joseph.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He would like to go
quickly
back.
Before we get to Jeremiah's part, I'm just going to end off with what fascinates me and I wonder about is the Devonian, the Neanderthal, and the elongated skull, whatever they are, and the genetics of it. And that if you look at the Devonian tooth or whatever, it literally looks 2 to 3 times the size of a nowadays human tooth, and Neanderthal looks about double the size. And it's like, could they have used could the Neanderthal, or what they label as Neanderthal genetics, actually be the genetics of the elongated skulls or something like that, and that they're mixing them in along
somebody, I don't remember who it was, but somebody actually did, and I think it may have been somebody connected with Lloyd Pye at one point. But somebody, BurnEye, did a genetic DNA analysis of some of those elongated skulls in Peru. Now, I don't know what the results of them were.
I believe it was Brian Forrester that's
that's familiar. Yeah, I don't remember what the results were, and
I had heard. I had heard, but I don't know if it was ever confirmed that supposedly they were literally 50% identical to human and then 50% genetic that's completely unknown to like the Earth genome sequence. That it was either that of the elongated skull or that was from what Lloyd Pye had dubbed his Star Child skull. I forget if it
Well,
was.
I don't recall anything.
All right, I'm gonna pause that there, and what a good episode to finish it off with, because coming up this Thursday, March 21st, I will have another show with the amazing Walter Bosley channel, and right there, Dr. Joseph P. Farrell, absolute legend, researcher in his own right, and academic, that is a close personal friend of Walter Bosley, who we will be doing yet another episode with the four of us again soon. Jeremiah, JP, my friend, my man, coming up with Real Science, Gerald as well. We will be in touch to do the next episode, Year of the Coil. And thank you, everyone, for being here, for supporting. Make sure that you like, make sure that you are subscribed, because sometimes YouTube likes to unsubscribe people for some reason. Hopefully they fix that. But everything helps, and please do what you can, and donations are appreciated, as this Alchemist work is just beginning. Like these monoatomics, what you see in front of you, this stuff is plasma state, according to Keshi and the KFSSI Foundation. Also, according to David Hudson, the original Ormus patent owner, discoverer, not to mention the legends of what monoatomic gold and monoatomics are. I believe it is quantum matter. It is plasma state, and it is the key to existence. It is the building blocks of our material reality, and it is quantum state plasma matter. For those that truly understand the power of what it is and can be and will be and has been and shall be again, well, everything helps. And anywho, I will let all of you go. If you need more BurnEye, if this 2 hours of pure BurnEye was not enough for you, well, make sure you go back and watch, if you haven't already seen, the Real Science episode from last night, featuring myself, Tim Ventura, Julie Kalman, and the amazing Jason Verbelli, the Real Verbs, and all of his work with the SEG, that is the Searle Effect Generator, magnetism at its magical maximum. It's a truly wonderful thing. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for the support. Please please share this out on all your social medias. We're live on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, OdySee. I'm forgetting others, but point being, I love you all. Thank you for watching. Please share the YouTube version because it's monetized, and we'll catch you on the next one. A ta-ta. Psych! We'll catch you tonight on the next one, which is with Tartarian Truth, the amazing Shem Jacobs, researching alternative history, and it's going to be with hopefully Frankie Fingers, aka New West Reset, my fellow Calgarian Tartarian. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother, and I hope to see you tonight with Shem, and we'll be covering the World's Fairs as well as the mounds and pyramids of the Americas. And on that note, I'm going to bed. A ta-ta-ta.
love. Again, AI generated songs. That's it.